This is a reading for Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. So when Kanye first met Kim, I get the feeling that it was love at first sight for him. When he first saw her, he was immediately attracted to her, and that he immediately thought, she's the one, I want to marry her. And I think he always carried that torch for her from the moment he met her. And he carried it quite a while. You know, he spent a lot of time, I think, pining for her and seeing her, you know, be with other men, watching her get married to Kris Humphries. And I think, you know, he was almost at his breaking point. Like, he was almost like thinking like it's never going to happen. But when her and Kris Humphries broke up, he realized that like this was his opportunity and he wasn't going to squander that opportunity. And I felt like he always showed this playful, charming side of him to her, like throughout the time that he knew her, and was always so like sweet to her, and you know, was a good friend to her, and was very charming and you know, fun. But I get the feeling that like she never really took him seriously because she kind of thought he was more like superficial in that regard, and that like he may have been attracted to her, but like there wasn't anything more than that, and she wasn't like initially physically attracted to him. So she, you know, enjoyed his, you know, his charm and his friendship, but she wasn't like thinking that she was going to take it any further than that with him. And so when she got married to Kris Humphries, I get the feeling that that they didn't give it enough time. They didn't really know each other well enough to get married to each other, and I think that once they got married, she started to realize that there were things about him that she didn't like, and that she didn't realize that was part of his personality. So I think she realized very early on that she had made a mistake, but also that I think she realized that she was basing her choices on superficial things, like his looks and possibly his status, you know, like the fact that he was a basketball player, his money, possibly even. So she was trying to find, you know, she was trying to find the right man for her to marry, to settle down with, to start a family with, but she was basing it on reasons that are superficial, and they're not good reasons to marry somebody. And I think she finally learned that lesson, and she finally like realized like, oh, okay, like I know what I should be looking for, I know what I don't want. And so she forgave herself for, you know, making the mistake, and she decided like she was going to start looking for somebody that she could have a deeper connection with, that she wasn't going to base it on looks or any other superficial reasons. So she was opening up, okay, after her breakup with Kris Humphries. And Kanye saw it as his opportunity, right? And so he'd always showed her this side of his personality, but he started to open up to her, and he started to really explain to her that like, no, like I really want to marry you, I want to start a family with you, like you're the one. I'm not only attracted to you, but I, you know, have such deep feelings for you. And then he started to open up and let her see a different side of him that I feel like, never really showed her. That, like, you know, I think she started realizing, like, that he was a much deeper person than he had initially portrayed himself to be. And so she started to take him more seriously and really, you know, start to understand, like, wow, like, he's such a deep guy, and, you know, he like, really is intellectual, and he's a musical genius, and he wants to start a, you know, fashion line. And, like, she never, like, I feel like she never knew these things about him, and it really opened her up, and she realized, like, after really getting to know him better, that he was her soulmate. And I also think that because she started to realize that he was her soulmate, that she realized, like, she wanted to have children with him, and she wanted to make it official. And so that's how they got together. But unfortunately, I do see problems ahead in their future. Basically, it's rare that soulmates would split. But I think that I get the feeling that they're going to split. The reason being, there's two reasons. Basically, the first reason is going to stem a lot from the robbery that happened to Kim in Paris. I get the feeling that she was truly affected by this, and I think she really thought she was gonna die, and she thought about, like, her life, and, you know, the people in her life, and, you know, I think she had, like, one of those truly scary moments, and it's causing her to retreat from the public eye. She doesn't like the scrutiny, because she and now I think she's so scared to put herself out there the way she used to, because I get the feeling that that's how she feels that those people, like, were able to even pull that whole thing off. Because, like, they were stalking her, you know, stalking her social media, you know, stalking her every move, like, through the paparazzi and stuff. And so, like, I think that she feels like if she could retreat, that she could get back some of her life. What she's not realizing, though, is that her whole livelihood is based on being in the public eye. So I think she hasn't fully understood, like, what this is going to mean for her in the future, like, work-wise. Because if she really decides to continue this retreat, she might have to find something else to do with her time. And I think what it also ties into another reason. So basically, she's going to retreat. She already has retreated quite a bit from the public eye. That is also not going to be good for Kanye. Like, right now, I think that he's being there for her, and he's supporting her, and he's trying to, like, be a good husband and you know, help her through this time. But eventually, like, he's gonna be like, okay, like, we have to get back to our normal life, like the way things were, and she's not gonna want to do that, and so that's gonna hurt his business also. So that's gonna be, like, difficult. That's gonna create a difficult situation between the two of them. And the other thing I got was that Kanye's ego, like, he loves himself, like, he worships himself, and he also loves like the way that like Kim's on his arm, you know, like he loves that she's sort of like his trophy wife, and so he loves like putting himself out there and exclaiming to the world like, hey, I love myself, and I'm, you know, this amazing person, and you all should worship me, and like I'm so amazing, look at my beautiful wife, and you know, my amazing kids, and so like he wants to put himself out there constantly, and he loves the attention it gets. And so this is going to cause an issue between them, that she's not going to want to do that as much. And but also I think she's going to start to grow weary of like his like, it's like conceit, you know, like he's conceited, like and I think that she's like, she's not gonna understand this, because it's like, you're a dad now, you're a husband, like we have to raise these kids, and like all you care about is yourself. And so I think it's going to be like really hard for her to reconcile that, and I think it's going to lead to a separation, which is going to devastate them both. But I just feel like she's going to want to stay out of the public eye, and he's going to want to stay in the public eye, and he's going to want to like cater to himself first. Like he's not the type that like it's always going to affect him, like this feeling like he's never, like, especially if people like try to knock him off his self-imposed like podium. Like if somebody's like, hey, you're not that great, like who do you think you are, you know, like he is going to be like so devastated by that, and he's going to fight to stay, you know. And she's sort of like, what do you care, like why do you care about what people think? So I think it's gonna be too much for the two of them, and I do see that they're gonna split, unfortunately. And I kind of get the feeling that these very self-serving feelings, or like this sort of ego of his, I feel like it's gonna like damage him mentally. He's like, I get the feeling like he's gonna like lose it a little bit. Like people are gonna start being, I mean, they've already started sort of being like, Kanye's crazy, but like it's gonna go to a whole new level that like we haven't even seen, and it's gonna be like extreme. But it'll be after the split, and I think that by that point, like Kim will be like, don't ask me, you know, like I don't know anything about it. So yeah, I think that like they'll split, and then like they'll probably always like pine for each other a little bit, and like wish for the way things were in the past, because like I said, like they are soulmates. But sometimes, you know, love is not enough. Like sometimes the world can break you down and split you up, and I think unfortunately that's what's happening, or going to happen, with Kim and Kanye.